There's a secret ego most powerful men in history know, pero que has been deliberately erased on the collective consciousness. A secret is all the civilization itself, so revolucionamos y a la kismabores monchuncos de radiación de now, y bon privenengo, y have so too. Cuando te me se insisto pien prepres window, en lo mostal chenca go abriste, dimanda lo stintico poproso, tis el samaoni. Conef modern sciences only just beginning to confirm our mystics, warriors, and geniuses have always known that within your body exists a power so vast, so transformative, that a simple decision to contain and transmute can transform a stage of a journey that most men can't even imagine, because they've been conditioned to believe that sexual desire exists only to be satiated, that impulse is sovereign, that resisting is represent. But what if all of this is a lie? What if the real represent is precisely that of living imprisoned in ciclos compulsion, seeking a relief que never comes, pursuing a pleasure that vanishes seconds after being reached, living only emptiness, guilt, and the feeling that something vital has been lost? Modern society has turned sex into a commodity, into an instant consumption product, into a release valve for unresolved anxieties, unaddressed frustrations, uncomprehended existential voids. You've been told that masturbating is healthy, natural, necessary, adopted, repressive, but no you told you that this narrativos built by multi-billion-dollar industry can profit our fragility, your dependence, your inability to control your own impulses. No you told you that every time you give in to the impulses without awareness, you are feeding a neurological pattern of dopamine seeking that corrodes your willpower, your mental clarity, your ability to focus on long-term goals. Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, one of the most influential books on personal success ever written, dedicated an entire chapter to what he called sexual transmutation. He interviewed more than 5 extraordinarily confer proportada e successful men over 20 years, in discovering no unequivocal poder. The men who achieved the greatest accomplishments were those who learned to master and redirect the sexual energy. Hill was not talking about celibacy as denial, but about transmutación as elevación. Es realizada la semo en enricho que generacho physical bocaneracho 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 physical plafo pleasure to fan plant y to bafan plant da te cuben pode comecer sempre a fene te axiel shuma y do pentimien carameles prundo que veces producible. The more frequent cycle, the more the brain adapts, requiring increasingly intense stimuli produce the same sensation. As the same mechanism as drugs, you're not just losing vital energy, you're training your brain to be unable to feel satisfaction in simple things, in gradual achievements, in the slow and deep process of building something truly great. Research on seminal retention in various ancient cultures, Punucheanes Taoism to Indian Tantra, reveal millennial wisdom that has been systematically ignored by the modern West. The Taoists believed the sperm was not just reproductive fluid, but concentrated vital essence, kunta jing. The Taoists ejaculating excessively depleted this essence, weakening not only the body, but also the mind and the spirit. In Tantra, sexual energy vocenas kundalini, a serpento fire dormanta de base to veramino, que suelen a kundalevesas specific practices, como se superior enlightenment. And now Western science begins to validate these ancestral intuitions. Postil to temporary abstinence from ejaculation can increase testosterone levels by up to 150% after 7 days. Testosterone is not just about muscles and libido, it's about confidence, assertiveness, mental clarity, the ability to make difficult decisions, to face risks, to lead, it's about presence, to magnetic quality that makes people listen to you when you speak, to makes you occupy the space naturally, to makes opportunities arise around you as if you were attracting them. Pero the effects go far beyond testosterone. Men who practice seminal retention for extended periods report a dramatic increase in physical energy, reduce need of sleep, greater capacity concentration, amplified creativity, a clearer sense of purpose, reduce anxiety and depression. They describe a sense of inner fire, a life force que pulsates through every cell, a desire to create belgel, to conquer that did not exist before. It's not placebo, it's alchemy. Alchemy. In the Hermetic tradition, quan de arto transforma liebe into gold. Veritur alchemist, quan alinopic imades to primicicol metos. I comanda il vedor transmutation of the human being. About quintas mutation of the human being. About quintas mutation of the human being. The question is, are you going to burn it in empty explosions of fleeting pleasure, or are you going to learn to refine it into a constant flame that illuminates your whole life? 200 days without ejaculating is not about denial, it's about conscious choice, it's about looking into the abyss of your own desire and not backing down. It's about facing the shadow, the part of you that has been conditioned to seek instant gratification, to flee from discomfort, to choose the easy path. Humikes a ciudad fen postergoch. So quien yo luzabri lo voy a dar el besabifer, boson ferzoboyoer, que spor el dominateur todir espado lauf siki, sabotaging of wars goals, repeating destructive patterns, keeping us imprisoned in inferior versions of who we could be. Croquer, I am a conscious being, capable of choosing, capable of directing min promandernaxio feri mispado corno probato being, what a physico, to the creation, the choice, triggers a transformación calibique contribole metafísico, inacentes prefeto cuere de impulse ya su estostica, tu senporti tension en release, vuelto llevante el burubedo propua, te llevantem coa proprofedo. Your mind will create elaborate justifications, sophisticated rationalizations about why you should give in ear, pero es precisely aticaponila, yos quena fromente petirti siendo de buen dio tosto. Because even hilaren este caponito de la pori con crodiari afiades, qua mas per extorguentio y seres.
Van waren denan te pueki maiten per storeneri penisa sublimation, shop Friday just on there hills no keka human cruces.
Pero edistos not fully understando deptistavetis a mecanismo. Esto fe pintititus mecanismos opipecora of me mechanically raidectin. Es not teraguaches proposis de silla, abigo antigalos amenaiometro desmetricintui, manio mansomeini wastecamechario, izime dos panbuelavo desquimis pon creative. That mental fog, que you didn't even know existed, will begin to dissipate. You posaro notete que you are making decisions more quickly, with more confidence. The gaze will change, not only because you will be seeing the world differently, but because people will start to see you differently. There is a magnetism that emanates men who master the sexual energy. It's not something that can be faked or performed. It is a real presence, an energetic density que tiene das hodis filo, is not an italiano. Tomofi continúan a que te desafíe como mi, o mai mis forigoni via de camanto di abbes di toda foda ni que la fab de la uiol. Tomai fab che sempre te eva lo fariare. You will begin to notice patterns. Patterns in your life that you have repeated countless times without ever being aware of them. You will see how you used compulsive masturbation as an escape from difficult emotions, from uncomfortable conversations, from challenges that require courage. You will recognize the sexual impulse o filo carries a deeper messaging, pointing to an unmet need, an unhealed wound, an unrealized potential. Testos momente cuando vaya sorbicamos kiloyakilos en prepertiol, because you are not just retaining sperma, you are retaining vital energy. And this energy, when not wasted, begins to work on you, y camitirum oflecilumaitos uspidu ferdiubresavos lesto potencial. Pensionado los entedio, tolis hukenterralos tu precolento vitab dirwaler dirum ten functional relationship patterns. Chimanoti como postetusos un relationship patterns. Limiting beliefs about us has been implanted for so long, que the belief implanted for so long, que the belief has absolute pros. Yama trecerunte meple piacarosa identifiangi novintia con famole heplada lastimole heplad. Here, at this critical point in the journey, many men back down. Pure parole scotte en facile somprini comfortable. Che lo facile somprami ca fogla se copeduri di camcore canadien is the bit of critical bichequeras. Poi cavo que no mande mawajadolon, puye buperminta biete cepillo que no fi caballos. Por el revela spien pa mi cabien. Y tu has sido tu retorno tita ciclo tentension e relief, tu da anestesia to instant pleasure. But if we have courage to continue, if we have strength to facing what ends you are facing, you will emerge on the other side transformed. You will no longer be the same person. You will have integrate your shadow. You will have reclaim your energy. You will have become whole. And the adika sakle haya istabianto sumas o medipetir min personal transformación. Y hay caberona isto sextan invitación o yo estabilon podos. Monitomanos los in fuego aviado. This channel exists to guide men through this process of transmutation, to share profound knowledge about psychology, philosophy, spirituality, and personal development in a way that you won't find anywhere else. Subscribe now and activate the notification bell because the videos to come will delve even deeper into this internal alchemy, revealing specific techniques, concrete practices, and ancestral wisdom that can accelerate your transformation. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. The man you can become is waiting on the other side of your decision. Click subscribe now, because your video, we go deeper into the abyss and return with more light. Return into the 200-day journey. There are specific milestones that deserve attention. Around the 30th day, many men report what has become known as superpowers. Of course, esas mula literal superpowers, but chances so dramatic in perception, energy, and presence que de como al sumetranarlo compared to the previous state. Mental clarity reaches levels you haven't experienced since childhood. Creativity explodes, ideas flow easily, problems that seemed unsolvable reveal obvious solutions. You become more articulate, more persuasive, more charismatic. You realize that you are no longer seeking external validation. You are no longer dependent on the approval of others to feel good about yourself. This is an internal solidity, a safe of confidence que no la arrogance, pero hacia acceptance of who you are. Paradoxically, is emotional independence makes you more attractive. People are drawn to those who are complete in themselves, who don't need them, but choose to have them around.
Atingin din damtuhado para viajar na phase sim diver or crisis. Moments when the ifif jau whether it over with triself. Otherwise not todo just comfort sim dos be about.
Moments when the discomfort seemed ao potki. Mamo supporting verba to bis crisis per da gersis, momonia dem facas comparasies. Real willpower. Not the superficial willpower we used to die for a week. Mul, pero tinka sinete gaciability había caramidmente tuternomin como laderos, o adigebulo de indiendo mocio, como cia, que carigusta da contricati los pes rombris abtuga la dutijo. Y fomento que importancia destacaron paren, urbanisires moster nagilseros de cero, y fomento que son mofitininity, in all its dimensions, intuition, receptivity, creativity, mystery, and, simultaneously, iuoba di agregan er rock feminine with onjurianas. Pero emonju ifi había du parariente abimen, en sambela feminidadul, morchugon con robre que yo se lo dimosiona, procurativ con balanchuno, tenaminado feminicidos.
Si one chiajen into this that I can krieg.
You will have a clear sense of purpose of mission. You will know at the deepest level what you are here, what you came to do. En qué clarity will translate into action. You will no longer be paralyzed by doubt or procrastination. You will move with determination, but focus, but perão force seems to come from a place beyond yourself. En que l'enfi folientuatos, entodiudos o quinpros, culcerberet campose beyond folios o bala. Transmutación has become natural. Your sexual energy has not disappeared, disintegrated. It flows through you as a constant stream of vitality, fueling everything you do. You work more intensely and with less fatigue. You create with more ease and depth. You relate with more presence and authenticity. You have become in fact a superior version of yourself, but it's too crucial to understand what is happening at the biological and energy of the leva. Sansen shows us que spermenos not just reproductive cells. Each ejaculation contain a kidekoi amendukeron hasta que en sun retention dumelichun que ne paras piga paremo en dunel trium. Zinc, selenium, B vitamins, special acid proteins, hormones. When you ejaculation frequently, your body is constantly diverting resources to replenish that loss. Resources que el primitivos, drenando el immune system, producen neutrino, neurotransmitters, generate cellular energy, chemo stop ejaculating, y al resources cabulai de reticti. Usuario feito in ticona de rida de que, en podium beta me sono faliu en decay. Que biesto biacu nuteriun aurisma in tepic humanity. But more important than this is what happens on an energetic level. Spiritual traditions around the world speak of a full energy system in the human body. The Indians call it chakras and nadis. The Chen Bichanyas call it chakras meridians and dantians. Europoion hermeticist la pacademota de fitica non te disfado de ticamli todo jecane santo deric fexen betleane di velarante barxa disfeler. Regardless of the nomenclaturi, the experience is consistent across cultures. There is energy in the human body that is not only chemical or electrical, but something more subtle, something that modern science cannot yet adequately measure, but any serious practitioner of meditation, yoga, tai chi, or qigong can feel directly. This energy, when more wasted through ejaculation, begins to circulate differently. If of the spine, activating higher energy centers related to intuition, vision, spiritual connection. This is not empty mysticism. You can test it empirically, meditate it empirically, master ejaculation, and after 10 days without ejaculation, and compare the quality of the experience. The difference is striking. After ejaculation, the mind is scattered, restless, foggy. After days of retention, there is a depth, a stillness, an ability to dive into meditative states ya no simple doesn't exist la preso que es. Napoleon Hill interviewed Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Andrew Carnegie, Theodore Roosevelt, and many other giants of his era. He realized that all these men possessed a highly developed sexual energy. They were not sexless ascetics. On the contrary, they were viril, magnetic, charismatic men. Versias me exera, consciously or intuitively. Not in wastes inertia on empty pleasures, resonando into their workings, des inventions, den caponitos, den visions, y que smiles tobolos cabolo. Hill wrote a sexual transmutation does not make permanent celibacy, y que smile awareness, y que smiles of the pierlings pocus. The problem is not a sex adicite sexes, para compulsion, unconsciousness, the user is your most potent energy as mere escape or anesthetic. Compulsive masturbation, especially pornography, is particularly devastating para que creates the neurological circuit a effortless reward. You get a dopamine rush without having achieved anything, without having created anything, without having reached anything. And the people metatodium puede paraligas distenca mosa til roa pleasure selter vifel pleasure, giten preferen dudo artificial a prefaga et visio la prefoniti to bleso, lo toclar glora befed bisir mazu role prisau presego la terimek fag. Conquering a real woman seems too difficult. Building a real business seems too slow. Developing a real skill seems too laborious. Why bother when you can have instant pleasure with a few clicks? This is the silent poison that is castrating an entire generation of men. Not physically, but psychologically and spiritually. Men cocomene purior, as becoming spectators. Men cocomene creators, as becoming consumers. Men cocomene ter leaders, as becoming passive followers. And the tragedari lopore ardiasa becamanechin quechua posincio. Men cocoma aborias toyave. Y Josué, bijabietes como censuello. Pues polchirkel tanchuers, poltim bijovent ajan y ma polcham mequesado, pori poljan, do propaisten todo a ikerkinwas. You can continue on the path you are on, satisfied with crumbs, with the bellows places tejes traisda, que never ruan kin orientotas off. Or you can make the other choice que sube have the courage to make. You can decide, here and now, que you will reclaim willpower, que you will master your sexual energy instead of being mastered by it. Que you will discover who you can really become fue when you are not constantly leaking your life force. You'd father Balkines. You'd father right a passage dica you que transfor de pollo baum by. No by ajubo shobais external ritual, para by the internal ordilo masturbin consual. Every traditional society a mal initiation rituals. Testos courage, of endurance parai, moder depravdo di sebi. Para yesite guriao yostru ritual, you can initiate yourself. And the tua funtu zijn comanda encontrat. In de pravdo dice, when you emerge fartodia desidado, munico modlocor you were. You breathe amper atome peniner campate saum, mucha jovio operating at a fraction of your potential, as if you were accepting a diminished version of yourself. And the story of ingratitude for the journey. Even to difficult parts, especially the difficult parts, because they were the ones that forged you. Y su guano feels all of that. Y consciosile choose how cafae to porlo respond. Y su guano is a slave to the emotions, para desde avtambir después. Is guano integrates to transmutes, to elevates, and sexual energy is the perfect training ground for developing this inner warrior. Perhaps a sura primal, sura powerful force, the teming that demands everything abarado flucont. Sinaucelis primal, to get force, como tu colem force, to the spormotarnetlisi, to passion de la turisma. Studies on neuroplasticity show that the brain can be literally reshaped through consistent practices. Studies on epigenetics show that the aurescamen can be taught or decaf et genis. Studies on the nervous system show that we can learn to regulate internal states with precision. And studies on hormones show that we can make more control over our biochemistry than we imagined. 200 days of sexual transmutation isn't just an arbitrary number. It's enough time to break deeply ingrained neurological patterns and establish new suevas. It's enough time to break spermaciem to cease being a fortam de comeldoteriti. You will no longer be someone who is trying not to ejaculate. You will be someone who has mastered their sexual energy. And this distinction makes all the difference. In tantric texts, there un talk of Brahmacharya, que sue toton sabaris el celibacy, pero que is more precisely man turis buenos triseth, pero que is more precisely man como vendo de buin creative energy. Y lo ven a one as tom denying the body or demonizing pleasure, pero que spari con extelis plas de jaun fecergemazon patiber, de tige keniti beo del labun, indome sobidem pasto, to que smors en a body in emerostodl, your consciousness. And when consciousness directs the energy instead of being dragged by it, miracles happen. The path isn't linear, te villas piens, y con as den da humores crescer clariet. De villa biato becrito bom, y a Cristo a confusión temptations, tempolim te quinto, de Cristo a confusión, te condiabiente confusión, te villas piens sutil temptations, y no verwam temptations, pero casi de consules tu presun transmutatio es iespo, afirmuar dibungo de tios tempia onifentes. Are you ready to stop being a domesticated, controlled, and weakened version of self? Are you ready to reclaim the power that has always been yours, but that you voluntarily surrender in exchange for fleeting moments of pleasure without substance? The 100 days are an invitation to the greatest adventure a man can embark on, the journey into himself, into the depths of his own psyche, to the encounter with a shadow and with his light, to the integration of what was divided and the elevation of what was demoted. Is the hero's path, not in distant lands fighting external monsters, but in internal territory, que the only monsters that exist are the ones you created through your unconscious patterns, and the only surde works is the consciousness sharpened by self-knowledge. You don't need to believe anything that has been said here. You just need to test it. Do the experiment. Commit to 200 days of conscious transmutation and observe what happens. Keep a journal. Note the chances, subtle and dramatic. Y en etiende o mufories el ansare, moster shar comendary or dogma, moster lived experience. Y que na la villa tivio spiritus polis o duzato seike tigel, en duc sem foti profound, gome monda di sandari sig to dio fuolo. Todo de son baldirentori lubeido, resiafaos isperamaden lavato, isponaro direntori sig disprobevo cederi media logui. Can these things may come of natural consequences, pero true power que no man can take offend you, can power que transformos not on your life, val reyes en fenia proipovoran, suboviano el dynasty ave que transformas trillion de rude, by becoming lord of your own internal house, by consciously directing the energy that flows through you. This is the secret que como is protected with obscure symbols. This is the mystery that the spiritual masters kept for prepared disciples. This is the knowledge que Napoleon Hill trained upon just to convey in contemporary language to businessmen. And this is the power que se beludo para fustuie, ma this is momente u fear da corrasi to rito forite. The flamma solvi fici en l'ocianda, y amnistia lo pentalomo i fa, do do sol sigue esiste do de butin salufada ne do fis. Do loto bisno vale sol vondorical na budelada. Y ageno do to bisno naftalis, moche dielfi campentiel lo pentel lodos. Mocha siera do loto bellendon te comanche loto bellendon. Lo loto bella melle no damel subiande di alobeles. Lo bellendon foriab, to boltim bardo goritalina do loto beller. Matthew la ciel, da porti l'anca noto bellamel, ye bellan che tenivio finte tomo fien. Lo bellotto bellan baguardo te no fedodo falamel tu. I no arcelecho unis masodor bivio riumen. Lo porti la vida de terrien fica vien cap me seguiramiente tam lo lado fin. Do bordo do to bellan forir, cavla l'endiano forin lo sudadium. I ser farion de bien fidda, para que mica mil pedluque, une choice at a time. Une choice at a time. Ponte fully awake on a who you truly are. Not a body with uncontrollable desires, para an infinite consciousness temporarily inhabiting a human forma, capable of directing creative energy a ways you haven't even imagined yet. The feeling doesn't need to be extinguished, it needs to be understood, honored, and used to forge the extraordinary life that's waiting for you on the other side of your self-mastery.